Welcome to the 11th video in this series, The Dictatorship of the Proletariat According to Marx and Engels. Today, we'll be going over the 1874 piece by Engels, The Program of the Blaquist Fugitives from the Paris Commune, which I had subtitled Proletarian Power Avoids Sectarian Demands and Coercing Voluntaristic Actions, Beliefs. In this text, Engels criticizes the Blanquist program and insurrectionary tactics on grounds that is unable to produce the dictatorship of the proletariat. Blanquists are those who seek to, through the use of a small group of secret revolutionaries, seize the bourgeois state on behalf of the proletariat, usually in the form of a coup at an opportune moment, and then grant it to them as an external force above and beyond the proletariat. However, this is unable to actually produce a dictatorship, as a seizure of power by a small minority on behalf of the proletariat is necessarily nothing more than a seizure of power by that minority, not by the proletariat. Engels clearly states that the party and state that is organized under the dictatorial rule of one or several individuals, rather than the whole members of society, will inevitably result in any power seized by it being under the control of those individuals, rather than by the proletariat themselves. This is obviously not the self-governing of the proletariat by and for themselves. Thus, the party and state need to be directed by their whole membership, and need to be integrated with the proletariat, not directing them. A beast of burden driven by the proletariat rather than the other way around. The party, at the time of the revolutionary movement, places itself into the hands of the proletariat as a tool with which to carry out revolution, acting as the general staff of the revolution and organizing the proletarian army through its connections to the whole of the international worker associations, while using its highly developed theory to support the spontaneous activity of the proletariat towards their class interests. The workers at all times need to be the ones leading their own emancipation, utilizing the tools placed in their hands by communists. He further advises that the dictatorship should avoid establishing sectarian ordinances, demanding either beliefs or activities of its people. This will only result in anger. The goal should be the production of a society that is favorable for the eventual development of people with communistic beliefs and understanding, rather than attempting to force voluntaristic action in spite of social relations of society supporting or attacking communistic ideology. Communists are those that can clearly see the final goal and work towards it through all intermediate stations and compromises with material conditions. These intermediate conditions are not created by communists, but instead by historical external developments. Communists respond to these developments in what way brings them closer to the final goal, rather than fearlessly forging forward without care of the terrain they are on, breaking from the ranks of the proletariat and alienating themselves in no man's land. Engels does note that the Paris Commune was not without fault, both in the sense of its failure and its moral failures, and also calls for future revolutionary struggles carried out by the proletariat to be as humane and peaceful towards the population as possible, avoiding any barbarity. It is a civil war seizing the state through violent force. This is distinct from any sort of wanton bloodshed. And that is my summary of Engels' The Program of the Blaquist Fugitives from the Paris Commune. If you would like to go over this piece's quotations that I derived this summary from, then please feel free to go into the description below and open up the Google Doc. And as always, the United Marxist Pact Discord server will be available for entrance as well. Tomorrow we will be going over my summary of the 1875 piece by Marx, Critique of the Gotha Program. We already went through it in terms of the character of the communist mode of production, but there's a very short but also very direct section talking about the dictatorship of the proletariat, which we will be going over in this series' summary of it. Thank you for joining me for today's topical summary, and I hope to see you then.